Hello, my name is Prime, and welcome back to ATS Showcases, and today we are here in Omaha, Nebraska, and we're going to head back over to Norfolk today, and there is a very specific reason for that, and that is because the route we'll be taking today is a combination of some newer road networks, or at very least revised road networks in northeastern Nebraska, which came in with the 1.55 update, and for those who watched a few episodes ago, yes, I did go a little bit too far west with a recent delivery in Nebraska attempting to show off some of these roads, but that's okay, we are here now, and that's all that matters. So without further ado, let's get this Peterbilt 389 started up and get on the road. And what you will be listening today is a Cummins N14 engine, in particular an N14 engine from the Engine and Transmission Compilation mod, a free Steam Workshop mod that I've used plenty here on the channel, so I will have the link for that third-party modification down in the description below. Alright, let's get rolling. Hopefully everyone's doing well. I certainly am. Great to be back here in ATS once again, and driving a truck that I haven't driven in a little while, and well, we'll talk a little bit more about that and my thoughts on the 389 situation here in ATS and the Peterbilt trucks in general, along with some other stuff in terms of the future of ATS and kind of my thoughts on things. I know you all like to hear some of my thoughts and rants at times on some of the, well, different opinions of American Truck Simulator and the future of it, so we'll touch on that in just a few moments' time. But decided to also run a bit more of a paint scheme today. This is technically part of the Retro Paint Skins pack, by the way. This is, I believe, Retro Wave, something like that. Change the colors ever so slightly just to make it a little bit, well, less vibrant. Maybe this is the best way for me to put it. So decided to do that, and of course our tipper trailer behind us hauling some stone. So let's roll out of here. Fantastic indeed. The N14, what a fantastic engine, and of course part of the Engine and Transmission Compilation mod, a mod I've been using quite a bit recently, and the main reason for that is because of the 1.55 open beta, to which I am not running today. Happy full release of 1.55 to everyone. That came out a little while ago, albeit, but it's out now, and hopefully everyone is enjoying it. If you happen to be, and I've got to turn left here. Sorry, people behind me. I'm overhanging in the lane a little bit. Hopefully everyone has been able to update to it, if you so choose to, that is. I know a lot of you run mods, and some mods may not be updated right away. So, of course, take the update as you will. But it is out and available for everyone. So now it is a stable release. But yes, back here in Nebraska, admittedly, I went a little bit too far west when I tried to, well, basically do this video a little while back now when 1.55 first came out into open beta. There were some updates as far as I know where I was starting to hit into Nebraska, because of course I was in the northern section, but primarily that was Nebraska DLC and just the way it is. Where we're going today and where we'll be traveling, some of the updates and also some extra content that has been added in, just roads in general, because, well, to no surprise, the Iowa DLC is directly east of us, where we sit today. Now, speaking about the Iowa DLC, and before I get into some of the other content that I'll be talking about today, and given the truck that I'm driving, the Iowa DLC is just around the corner, my friends. So exciting indeed. The countdown is well and truly on, and, well, as of recording this video, less than a week until the release of the Iowa DLC, which is very exciting. Of course, I know many of you have mixed opinions on the Iowa DLC, but generally, I will say everyone is very excited. I am definitely very excited. Oh, it looks like there's a bit of a geyser happening here. There is, okay, interesting. Manhole issue? Yeah, spewing water. And yet, traffic is not fully closed off. Well, I mean, I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. That's fine. Oh, well. Anyways, we're getting really close to Iowa DLC release, and I know a lot of you are very much excited for it. I certainly am. And there's been a little bit more news on the upcoming map DLCs for ATS as well. Most notably, and we'll let the car here go by us. Go, the SUV. There's been a little bit more news recently on some of the upcoming DLCs here for ATS, most notably with Louisiana. Well, I guess I say most notably, the blog post talked about some different settlements. I believe 4 or 5 different settlements or towns, by technicality, that will be in the Louisiana DLC. However, as far as I am aware, based off the terminology used within the blog post, settlements are basically the towns that we can drive through. There may be a bit of a, rest station there, something like that, a gas station, something potentially, not always, for us to interact with, but they are not a full city listed on the map that have contracts going in and out of it. That is traditionally the way it goes here in ATS and ETS2 respectively for some of the towns that are more of a drive-through scenic situation. So there were a few cities or towns, I guess mainly towns, that were in smaller settlements that were mentioned there, 4 to 5. I honestly cannot recall the names of each of them. Unfortunately, I was not able to do a Prime News specifically on that one, but I did a post on it. But I do apologize for getting the names of it. Either way, nice to see some of the details, and that's mainly what those blog posts are, the settlement blog posts, that is. They are mainly detail for screenshot. Screenshot in a little bit more of a historical blog post in terms of just some information about the towns. So interesting information. Definitely you can look back on the community tab here on the Prime Simulation channel. You'll be able to see the blog or the post that I made about that and find the link to the original blog post. Either way, great to see some more development on the Louisiana DLC. And then on, well, kind of more our general region here in the Americas, that being Illinois, Quincy, Illinois to be exact. Another wonderful city for Illinois that has been talked about, and unlike the settlements in Louisiana, Quincy, Illinois will be, actually there was a spot I just noticed on the map back here. Don't know what that was. Comment down below what that was. I'll have to go back to it at some point. Okay, interesting. You guys let me know. Comment down below when you eventually, or when you explore that. Tell me what that is, by the way, what that little bit of a gray blob on the map was in that area, kind of in the trees. Anyways, Quincy, Illinois is actually a city that we will be able to well and truly interact with in the Illinois DLC, which is wonderful. We always like to see those cities talked about. Besides the history of Quincy itself and, the very unique architectural buildings and so on around the region, one of the most important aspects of any city for us ATS players is what are the different depots that are going to be included with it. Now, the blog post did mention that there will be, some of the more standard delivery points, I believe like a parking lot construction site, like a home store, something like that. Some of the more traditional industry types and cargo options that will be available for us to haul. Now, the blog post also mentioned that Quincy, Illinois will feature 2 different depots as well, one of which is brand new to American Truck Simulator, at least according to the blog post, and well, for the state, it will be a new industry type for Illinois itself. And SES software remained tight-lipped on that one for the Quincy blog post. So I guess we'll have to wait for the future here to learn more about what that may actually entail for an industry. Now, for all of you who are very much familiar with Illinois, admittedly, I am still very much learning about the state. Comment down below what you think the unique Illinois DLC industry could be introduced into American Truck Simulator. I am genuinely intrigued to know what that could be. I'm sure there are plenty of options out there that would make complete sense. But once again, just comment down below. Let me know what you think. I know a lot of you know the states well, or in fact live in the various states here in ATS. Well, in real life ATS correspondents. You understand where I'm going with this. Let me know. I'm always happy to learn, and I want your 2 cents on what industry should, admittedly, come into ATS for that matter as well. Not just what you think, what should for the sake of realism. Now, a little bit potentially of a prime rant incoming here, so be warned. That's maybe the best way for me to say that. But the truck we are driving today, this 389, what is going on with the rework of the Peterbilt trucks in ATS, or for that matter, a brand new truck here in ATS? I've talked about it plenty in videos, but I'm going to touch on it and probably rant about it a little bit more here today. At very least, SES Software, love your work. I understand there's a lot of legalistic parts to doing these reworks and the licensing involved and so on. But please, could we at least get a little bit of a refresh here on the 389? And we've actually got to pull in for a weigh station here. So we're going to have to make a right-hand turn into the weigh station, up and around. Could you please, at very least, get a rework on the base 389 and, I guess, 579 for that matter? You know, just as an overall brush up. You know what? Don't even care if there's extra features right away. Just a few extra, you know, touches and brushes up. Just bring the quality up to the rest of the trucks. That would be fantastic. I think that would solve a lot of the questions and also make a lot of us ATS fan people very, very much happy with the whole situation. I know there's a lot of Peterbilt fans, including myself. Love the trucks. But here in ATS, the general, well, I mean, admittedly, and it's well known, the modeling quality of trucks here in ATS have significantly improved. The 389, the 579 respectively, are showing their age greatly. It would be fantastic, at very least, just to have a refresh of the models. But to enhance that, the brand new models. It'd be great to have some of the new Peterbilt models in, and plus, of course, new options and so on for 389 or what it may be. Fantastic. Just some extra updates, modernize it a bit, new interior trims, so on. Just bring them up if it's along with the rework. That would be, you know, ideal. What would be great, besides new truck models, would be some of the, well, tuning packs for the 389 in particular. A Peterbilt 389 tuning pack DLC would be fantastic. It happened with the Kenworth W900. It was reworked, and then the tuning pack DLC released for it. Amazing DLC, especially for a lot of us ATS fans. The W900 tuning pack DLC honestly was a big step in the right direction for ATS. Obviously, ETSU has had a bunch of tuning packs. ATS needed one, and the W900 was a perfect choice for the first one, or at least, in my view, a perfect choice given the legacy of it. But the 389 arguably holds the same legacy as the W900, or at least very similar, especially in the customization community. The 389 is equally popular in a lot of truck shows, holds a lot of popularity. I would absolutely love to see some of the 389 have more tuning packs, some of the customizations, bring in some of these full custom show trucks, more than just what Kenworth can do with the W900 tuning pack. The 389 tuning pack, I would love to see. So that would be great. My tiers, basically, is how you can, and how I'll summarize this up. What would be nice to have? Just a simple refresh. Look at the, you know, some of the modeling texture on the edge of the hood there. Don't notice that on the other trucks. I run the game in ultra settings. You know, that's one bit, you know, the dash quality and so on. Good, but it's great to see a bit of a rework on it. What would be, I guess then, good to have is refresh of the current trucks, bring in some new parts, you know, just add some extra options and maybe update the interior. So basically modernize the versions that we have currently for the Peterbilt models. What would be great is what I've said before, plus brand new truck models. And I guess as an extension to that, the 389 tuning pack. That, my friends, would be kind of my tier list in terms of what I'd love to see. Probably progressional, but again, I'd love to see in those different tiers how I'd respond to it. Either way, the 389, lovely truck, but it needs mods with it, right? Sound mods, definitely. Arguably, some other customization mods as well. Now, I'm not running those in today's video, but realistically, I know a lot of you are using mod Peterbilt trucks for obvious reasons that I've alluded to in today's video. So again, SES software, would love to see something happening here with the Peterbilt trucks. I know a lot of you watching this video would agree with me on that. I've talked about it before. We'll probably continue to talk about it until something happens, but either way, Peterbilt trucks would love to see more happening. And in terms of what's happening, or my view on where ATS in general is moving. Now, this is something that, honestly, I could go on and on for hours about, probably. But that would be extremely painful, probably, to listen to. I don't know. Maybe some of you would enjoy that. Arguably, some of you would say my videos turn into some of this painful mess anyways. But that's okay. Everyone has their opinion. ATS, I would say, is moving in a great direction. Obviously, lots of new DLCs coming out. Of course, I would love to see some more combination DLCs. Instead of individual state DLCs, I'd like to see a few grouped together to move things along. At least in terms of DLC-wise, a little bit better. Also, cost-wise, potentially a little bit more efficient. But again, there's reasons for not doing that. And that has been somewhat made clear so far with the release schedule of that. But in terms of, let's say, trucks, maybe I'll focus on that for the sake of this back half of today's video, and then we'll pick it up maybe in another video soon with some of the other features of ATS. Trucks. Besides some new models, say, in Peterbilt, everything kind of ties together here. My question is, what is going to happen with the electric trucks if they're coming to ATS? Besides Project Road Trip and so on, which will pick up trucks and so on, or at least that's what supposedly Project Road Trip will do. In terms of the actual transport trucks, we've seen on the ETS2 side the introduction of electric trucks in just a quick play menu, so really not an invasive addition by any means, and very specialized. But I know here on the American Truck Simulator side, in particular Volvo, I believe even Freightliner, and potentially even Peterbilt, I think, if my memory serves me correctly, have some electric models starting to kick around in the market. I've also heard some rumors that there could be some work being done on electric trucks in ATS potentially coming. But the question, again, is when? And is it the best solution for ATS? Honestly, another truck is another truck. And for something like the electric trucks, where currently, if they were introduced basically today, and based off of the ETS2 logic, the trucks would be very, well, they'd be non-invasive into the game. By that, I mean, you have to run it in the quick job menu with, well, again, you don't purchase the truck. No customization. You just pretty much get what you get, and you don't get upset. So, honestly, a new truck in that sense, wouldn't mind it. And at least in American Truck Simulator, you know, the trucks, if there's a couple different ones, interesting to see how the different manufacturers take on the electric, phenomenon with North American pickup trucks. So, I don't know. I think that could be interesting. Again, another truck coming in. But in terms of standard diesel-powered transport trucks, there's a lot of other options, really. Just historic trucks in general that are stock for ATS would be great to see. I didn't cut back here on my reverse correctly, so we're gonna have to just roll forward here, straighten up this 389 a little better. I'd love to see some more historic trucks rolling through here, in particular with how, you know, the used dealer works. It'd be great to see some more used older models kicking around, especially if you're trying to do a realistic, you know, from scratch save and full playthrough. Purchasing a used truck is where most people start, for, well, obvious financial reasons. There's a lot that we can talk about, and I'll pick this up in other episodes as well. There's a lot that ATS could bring in, and I do think ATS is moving in a good direction. As an ATS player, I think a lot of you would agree, we just want to be greedy and see more trucks come in particular the historic trucks, but again, new models as well. There are plenty that quite simply just need to be added. We don't have too many options in some of the brands, or they're outdated. Thank you all so much for watching. What a great episode of ATS Showcases, and so close to the release of the Iowa DLC, counting down the days as we speak. And you better believe I will be doing plenty of content on the Iowa DLC, so keep an eye out here on the Prime Simulation channel for those videos to come. So with all that said, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.